This is the Bars2Chains Podcast. But before we get into today's episode, I want to give a special shout out to Anchor, what makes us be able to do what we do on this podcast, and I'm going to go briefly over why. The creation tools on this app is super easy to use. Once you download the app, it's even on your website. However you would like to edit and record your podcast, you'd be able to use the creation tools to edit, take anything out, add anything. If you want to add sound effects, music, anything like that, it gives it at a touch of a button. You also have no minimum listenership, so if you feel that you have $1 million idea and you want to get your podcast a bunch of views, you can make money off of it just by having a little sponsor segment like this one you're hearing now. And the distribution tools on it as well. Once you post your podcast onto Anchor, it'll distribute it to your other platforms, and without having to do it individually, it'll do it at the touch of a button, and it'll give you the links to those as well. It's easy access as well, guys. This is super, literally easy to use. I am not a tech savvy guy by any means, and I literally do it all in the touch of a button, and it just does it all for me. It does the work for me. Now, most importantly, you want to hear this. It's the favorite F word ever. This is all easy to use, and it's free. All you literally have to do if you want to have any sort of income back from it is just have a sponsor segment, and even if you choose not to, you can still use it, and it'll work for you. Now, if you plan to start a podcast, make sure you use this. It's something you don't want to miss, and make sure you give them a shout out, as they will always reach back out to you too. They have an awesome following on their social media pages, so make sure you tag them when you post your episodes. Thank you guys so much. We love you all, and enjoy today's episode. Welcome back to the Bars2Chains Podcast, where we got a special gift for all you lady listeners out there. I have my good friends Arianna Castro and Rose here with me, and so we kind of briefly went over our little wet ass podcast episode in the past, but the issue that we had with it was there was just too much meat in that episode. So we decided that we were going to go ahead and get a female perspective on things that are trending in this world that need to be heard. So I'm going to kind of turn over the table, since you guys have already heard my mentality towards the WAP track that Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion have.
Well, you have to recap it because there's new listeners who didn't hear your
That's fair.
recap.
So I personally like the track. It definitely was. It pissed off the right people for me, because there's just a lot of people in this world that genuinely they get bothered by shit easily, and the music that I love is definitely that, and I love when people get pissed off. So, now to kind of recap my own perspective on it, I thought the track was very creative. It stretched the boundaries of what is to boomers okay and what's not okay, and I thought that the way they executed it and their marketing ploy behind it was phenomenal. I mean, there's a reason why it has 300 and some odd million plays on Spotify, and I don't know the statistics on Apple Music, but I'm sure it probably resembles the same type of statistics. So but from a female to looking in on this song, how do you guys feel towards its objective and its, stretching the boundaries? Do you guys, did you ladies feel like it was very okay or not okay?
Shit. I don't know. I think it's just very straightforward and blunt. Women are stereotyped to be a freaking certain way. So, I don't know. Some men get upset because women are like men, playa, this and that, you know, and it's like when a female does it, it's like, all right, you're a hoe, this and that, you're not wifey. Yeah. Right. But it's like every male can have that opportunity, but when a woman speaks about her wet ass pussy,
Right.
It's no different.
All of a sudden, there's something wrong with it.
Right. But when you're talking about your package,
nothing's
broadcast
wrong.
that shit.
Right. And see, and that's, go ahead, Rose, go ahead. You're good.
Personally, I don't have anything against the video or the lyrics. it just was a trashy song to me in general. Not because of what she was talking about. It just, the beat didn't sound right to me. Okay. But that's on a musical aspect and not what she presented to everybody. Gotcha. So, again, it doesn't bother me she was talking about her pussy or she was over there flaunting it. Because, again, men use it in their videos all the time. Right. G-Eazy just had that Still Be Friends. They were all naked. It's on Pornhub. Nobody had any reaction to that. It was classy. Everyone loved it. Millions of views.
Yeah, I thought it was fucking hilarious. Yeah.
But Cardi B goes and does it, and all of a sudden we're all a bunch of hoes who were going to doom our generations to come when it's no different.
Right. And see, oddly enough, like, the lashing that I had kind of distributed on my own take on it was actually more from females than it was males. Males just kind of, they get into that simp idea where they feel like they can control women and even the way that they make their music. But, like, from women, they were like, well, it's appropriating rape culture, it's appropriating, like, derogative mentalities towards women. I'm like, well, here's the thing. Yeah, for little boys it does that. For me, as a man, I'm like, I mean, there wasn't anything wrong with it, in my opinion. I'm sure it was vulgar, but that's all rap music today.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, name me a song that's out today that doesn't feature any sort of explicit lyrics that are derogatory either towards women or just trying to, you know, pump their own self-esteem or in any regard like that. I mean, anything I hear today is just, I mean, it is what it is.
And it comes down to education.
Right.
You got to teach your kids, yourselves, and everybody around you just to take that precaution to be safe. Right. If it is promoting rape, you know what? A lot of things can promote rape, but at the end of the day, it's the precaution of taking to be safe, you know?
Well, according to boomers, I mean, appropriating rape is by a girl wearing something revealing. You know what I mean? So, like, let's not try to act like it's exactly what it is. You know
I mean, for
like,
crying out loud, we were born naked, so putting clothes on us is just like self-sabotaging ourselves, you know? We were all born naked. A body is a body, you know? It shouldn't be sexualized. It shouldn't be, you know, women going out in a crop top and a thong shouldn't be I want to get raped.
And that's why you gotta be open. Like, I'm very open. I have 3 boys, and I'm very open about my body and what I wear because I'm teaching you should not sexualize me. You should not expect a woman to cover up because she's expressing herself.
Right.
You should be naturally comfortable with a woman's body to know right from wrong and to restrain yourself.
Right.
There's a time and a place for everything and how you act.
Yeah.
You got to teach your kids that.
Right.
But that's where self-confidence comes in. You know, I'm not a mother, but when it comes to that, I would want my daughter and everybody to know self-confidence. I got tatted because I used to not feel comfortable with my skin and all that. So that's why I show more skin than I used to back before I was, like, nude because, like, I have art, I have beauty, and that's what makes me want to, like, be naked and, like, you know, show it off, like.
So to kind of, because you have a very intricate and, I mean, creative story behind who you are as a person. I mean, more so than anyone I've ever known. And that's do take that as a compliment because I very much tell people, like, yeah, you're cool. You know what I mean? But, like, as you as a person, I know that you're very, like, non-judgmental. You are very open of who you are as a person, and I just appreciate that. So, I mean, just kind of give your backstory on who you are, and, I mean, why a song like WAP isn't supposed to be judged for what it is as far as the lyrics, but maybe towards a beacon of light, towards maybe women shouldn't have to be pigeonholed to a certain style of artistry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Music is music. You either like it or you don't.
Right.
Majority of the music is a hype. So, I mean, shit, I listen to WAP sometimes getting ready because it just puts me in my zone. I'm like, I'm a bad bitch, you know?
Right.
Like, that's what I get out of it. It's not like, hey, I want to just go be a hoe, do all this hoe shit. It's like, nah, it puts me in my zone where I'm like, I'm the baddest bitch. I'm going to go out today and I'm going to fucking kill it, you know?
Right.
And that's where I get that music from. It's like, you know, that's what they kind of portray it as. It's not, that's how I take it. A lot of people don't take it that way, but...
Right.
You know, but I mean, coming from my background, I've always struggled with my weight, with my confidence. I mean, barely about 2-3 years ago, I was starting to wear 2 pieces. I was covered from, like, head to toe. Even in the summer in 90-degree weather, I was wearing from head to toe, never showed my body, none of that shit, you know? And it's like, until I became a dancer and, like, you know, actually, like, yeah, it helped me out with the money, but it helped me out with my fitness as well. It got me out there. I was on stage. It took that fear of me being insecure with myself to just go out there, because I realized, like, people love it and they love me and they love what I have to, the art of that, you know. I am a dancer whether I'm taking my clothes off or not. I'm an entertainer. I love that shit. I am passionate about it ever since I got into that industry, you know. So it's a confidence booster. It makes money. It's a confidence booster. I mean, there are bad side effects to going in that industry as a woman, you know. It can be very unsafe, but, like, versus all of that, you know, if you play it by the cards right and you make sure you're safe and you're not getting fucked up and you're making sure you check your drinks, you know, at the club, you're fine. You go out, you know, I get tacos after my shift and I'm just like, fuck yeah. Like, I feel great, you know. I feel amazing after that shit.
Just made a rack and get some tacos?
Get some tacos. That's the first thing. I'm hungry after that. That was a whole cardio session. Oh man! But.
So through your professions as a woman, because there are some women out there that, I mean, I'm sure you even catch flack from females as far as what you do and how you conduct yourself. So for females that are in the profession that you're in, what are your words of advice in terms of, I mean, just battling judgment and staying true to who you are?
Honestly, fuck the haters. You get your money, get your shit, girl. No one's opinion really fucking matters, because you're doing it for yourself. And that's all. That's anything that you do, whether it's stripping, dancing, cam girl, all that shit. It's for yourself. So it's like the judgment. I got criticized from everybody. I've been called every freaking
every name in the book.
Every name in the book for that, you know. It was horrible, but you got to be stronger than that. That's what I'm saying. It has its outskirts of, you know, trying to, I don't know, it's just like, there's this, it's like a 50-50, but only the strong survive, you know, that way. You have to be strong mentally to get into this and not let that shit get to you. You need to know, like, hey, this isn't me being a prostitute or a hoe and this and that. It's like, hey, I am an entertainer and I love to dance, and putting on the cute outfits and all that shit, you know, it just makes you feel good. And if it makes you feel good, then fucking do it, you know, like.
Right.
Yeah, just.
Right. So go ahead, Rose.
So then, a part to that, how do you cope with your family knowing what you do? Like, obviously I support it, but a lot of girls, a lot of their problems are family. Family judges them the hardest out of everybody. Right. Because you can have your fan base, but your family's sitting right behind you calling you a whore and every other name in the book. So how do you cope with that?
I mean, my family is pretty wild. So I didn't really, I mean...
Well, that's cool that you got support, though. Cause, I mean,
did, I had the support. I mean, even my mom supported me in it. She, you know, my brothers, like, they didn't like it, but they knew, like, I'm going to just do what I want anyways. Yeah. I did feel weird, because I always had that, especially being in Denver, you know, all my family's here in Denver, so when I would see a family member actually come into the club, I would hide, because it's like, I don't want to, like...
Right. Yeah, you're just like, why are you here?
What are you doing?
Someone get him out.
Like, family dinners are going to be awkward after this.
Yeah.
But, I mean, majority of them know. I mean, I'm very open with it. Like I said, I mean, even if it comes to family, like, as an adult, you know what I mean? I'm 21 years old. I'm an adult. I make my own decisions. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do. And if you guys don't like that, as long, you know, then that's on you guys. That's not on me. And I shouldn't be guilt tripped or feel bad for what I want to do, because that whole situation helped me. I mean, I was homeless before I went into dancing. It got me my first apartment. It got me my car. It got me everything that I needed at the age of 18 once I turned legal age to do it, you know? Yep. And I got my shit together. I needed that outlet. I needed something. I wasn't going to fucking get it with a 9-to-5 job, you know? Right. So, like, it just... They see that, and I think that's why my family doesn't judge me so much, because I put my money into good purposes, not because... I spent my money to go get fucked up some more. You know, I actually use it to pay my bills, get my life straight. I mean, I don't dance anymore, but, like, I mean, for any woman that wants to do this, it it helps. It really does. I mean, you don't have to do it for a long period of time. I mean, like 3 months will get you stacked up. Like, it will help you out a lot to get you your foot through the door, pretty much.
Right. So I've known Arianna for about a good solid 3 to 4 years. Now, one thing I will say, that knowing you as a person, there is more than just the entertainer to you. You're a very smart person. You're very willing to just go the extra mile to achieve your goals. Oh, yeah. And that's what I think I appreciate about you the most, is that you are very open about who you are as a person, what professions you decide to get yourself into, and you give it balls to the wall and just put everything there. You know what I mean? Like, you're very, like, I mean,
you're a go-getter.
Yeah, you're gonna go get yours regardless. You know what I mean? So to kind of turn it to a little part of the other side,
oh boy,
you have a different, like, very similar in the aspect of, like, you started off in a relationship that you were having issues with in terms of, like, not healthy, you're toxic, you know what I mean? And then you use that into fuel to turning into your self-confidence. So, like, as far as, like, that goes, can you kind of, like, give me some speculation on how that went for you?
I was very much that girl on the other side who was hating the girls who were getting money for, expressing themselves. That then I was very judgmental, like, they're a bunch of easy, fast girls, you know? But because my relationship made me feel like that. Not because of how I actually felt about anybody, but because anytime I would try to dress up and show up, that's how he would make me feel. So I projected it onto everybody else. Well, then when we left, and, he left me for the same kind of girls he judged me for. I said, fuck it. Why am I going to hate on somebody for nothing? So I started working out. I joined kickboxing. I really focused on my health and just being that girl he didn't want me to be. To where now, fuck yeah, I can go and pose in half-naked pictures and not feel like, oh, I'm going to be easy or somebody's going to tell me I'm a slut. Like, at the end of the day, I love myself. I worked my ass off to get my body to where it is, especially after 3 kids, that no, I'm not going to let anybody tell me what to do with it. Just because I don't need the money for it doesn't mean I don't respect it. Other girls do it, like you said, to hustle, to get them to where they go. Girls like me do it just for a confidence boost, It's just something to feel like, you know what, you made it. You did make it to where your goal was. Stuff like that,
Even though you totally would kill it if you did.
And I have a lot of friends like, why haven't you started one? And don't get me wrong, there's times where I'm like, it'd be an easy buck to make, have some vacation days here and there.
But, hashtag $signs.
Right, but I'm just not consistent with stuff like that. I'm not one who can keep following up on followers and subscribers, so I just don't. I do it when I feel low and I'm like, hey, I need a confidence boost. Let me post something. But other than that, it's just something for me.
Let me piss y'all off right quick.
Pretty much, like, hey, let me remind you.
Right. So, I mean, you guys both have adventurous backgrounds to where you guys are where you are today, which is awesome. And so, as far as, like, into relationships, how does that kind of make you, how would you say it, like, as far as how you guys handle yourselves in your relationships, and I mean, obviously your guys' mentality towards being open to who you are as people, does that make a difference in terms of your relationships? Does that make sense? Like, as far as, like, does it change course on who you want to try and be, as far as how open you are, all that stuff?
It did on my past relationships, even the current one. I mean, past ones, they saw me as that, and they kind of just, like, thought I was, like, a pass-around,
Right.
So I was appreciated for what I did, but it was abused, It was like, oh, she's a stripper. She'll show her tits. It's like, not if I don't want to, It's like, you don't expect it from me just because what I do, And it was just out of disrespect and abuse because they thought I was easy and, like, that type of girl because I'm comfortable with, pretty much being butt naked. So it's like, those men kind of just fucked it up a little bit with me. I mean, my current relationship, he's totally new to this industry. He's, I'm probably the first girl that's ever brought him into this industry. So it's like a little difficult on him, and I'm just trying to make him understand, like, it's an art, and that's how I've always, since day one, that's how I walked into it. It's not me trying to go flirt with other men and try to be with other men.
And it's interesting because, like, I mean, in your body of work and who you are, it can sometimes it's hard to, as a person, like for me as a man, if I were in that situation, it's hard for me to see somebody that is not in a white canvas anymore. Mm-hmm. They're already painting the picture. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like they've already kind of gotten strokes in. They're painting already into it. Mm-hmm. So you have to adjust to see who they are. You know what I mean? And that's something that, I mean, you know, I feel for that. You know what I mean? I understand that in terms of as a man, it's one thing to try and judge, but to not understand somebody is totally different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, like my past relationships, they like saw that and then just, you know, you know, just went off that. They didn't see Ari as her caring and like, you know, positive self. Like my dancing and entertainment is the extra, you know, that doesn't identify me. That's, you know, that's just what I like to do. Like modeling, all that other stuff, it's extra, you know, and it's just like, I don't know. I mean, going into relationships with it, it's kind of hard. I mean, I don't do it now. I'm a retired stripper, I guess you would say, a dancer, but you know, I mean, I don't do it now for the, you know, because out of the relationship, like I do see that it does take a toll. Like, I mean, I was dancing the beginning of this relationship and like I was so tired coming home from my shifts. Like I didn't even want any intimacy. I didn't want to cuddle. I didn't want any of that because that's all I got for the night, you know? So it's like, go away from me.
Yeah. And that's just for 1 second, I just need to be by myself.
Right. And that's like, you know, that's why I cut it once I got into a relationship I was serious about, because it's like, I shouldn't feel that way. I shouldn't be, I should come home and want my man, you know, but I have all this other smells of men on me, and it's just like, that's not fair to him, and it's not fair to me, you know? So that's why when it comes to a serious relationship, I cut it, and I'm willing to cut it, because it's like, you know, I mean, there's multiple ways for me to dance, you know, like, I'm a raver. I love EDM. I want to go into global dance and like actually get on stage one day. Like, you know, be on stage and do that without taking my clothes off. Right. Because it's like I can be more than that, even though I'm comfortable with it. I don't judge girls for that, but like, out of the sake of my relationship and like, you know, the aura of it, you know. Right. You just gotta.
Hey, you're moving up.
Yeah, just moving up. Yeah, exactly.
So okay, so you've surpassed even just the basic stripper mentality, where you're moving up, surpassing a lot of elements. You know what I mean? So, I mean, my question to you is, in terms of your OnlyFans, in that regard of like, you're opening up. You know what I mean? Like you're showing even more than you would at a normal strip club. You know what I mean? So like, how does that, like, in terms of who you are, in terms of your confidence boost and skyrockets, does it take it a little extra more to just keep moving up in terms of opening up? You know what I mean?
Well, with the OnlyFans, I actually loved that. I felt that it was a lot more safer for girls. Yeah. You know? Oh, yeah. I mean, they even have like a whole, like, even if you say meetup in the messages, it's a flag, and your account will get shut down for that. Right. Because there's no such thing as meetups and this and that. Like, and I completely love that, and that's why I admire the OnlyFans, is because like, hey, I don't need to be touched. I don't, you know, and at the clubs, you get your ass smacked whether you like it or not. You know, it kind of just happens, and you kind of just got to deal with it. So like with the OnlyFans, it was a lot safer for me, and I mean, it's not like I didn't show any less or any more than the club. Right. It was the same shit. So I'm like, and I made more money doing the OnlyFans than I did dancing. So it's like,
well, and you're in charge of the content.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I like the most too, is I could be creative. I mean, I could add flow arts to it. I can add whatever the fuck I want to it, lights and this and that. It's not just me being on a stage with a pole. It could be me doing a bunch of other things, you know? I mean, OnlyFans is like, it's your for art. Fans. Yeah, it's your art. It's you. It's not for just dancing or pornography. It's like, hey, I did a bomb-ass photo shoot. You want to get paid? You want to pay me to see that? You know, you will. Like,
or look at my toes.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's so many aspects that you can go with OnlyFans, and that's why I love that website so much, because it's so expand, you know, you can do so much with it, and people would still love you for it. They, you know, everybody has their kinks. Like, I don't gotta show pussy for it. I can show my toes and like still get paid for that.
Right,
you know?
right. Yeah, there's some dudes that pay for that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, on our live stream, you guys will have to catch the rest of the episode later on. So we're going to tune out and catch the rest of it on our streaming platforms. See you later.
Bye.
All right, so as far as what you guys are as people and how you guys see the music industry and what it is today, it's a lot different than what it used to be. In terms of, like, women have more of a platform nowadays. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it's open mic, essentially. You know what I mean? Like, back then, like, you had to have a catchy hook, you had to have a catchy this or that to actually hit the waves in terms of mainstream artistry. Yes. And nowadays, I mean,
it's art.
It's like, everywhere. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I would argue sometimes the girls have a little more of a platform and can use it better than the guys can. Because here's the thing, as somebody that used to write music, I understood the fact that, like, writing about fucking somebody and how much money I have and how many rides I have has already been done before. Yeah. For girls, it hasn't. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, yeah, Missy Elliott back in the day did it, and she kicked ass at it.
But she wasn't attractive.
But, well, and that was the thing, was that it was different back then. You know what I mean? Like, there was a little more of a, there was a little less of a platform. Yep. Nowadays, there's social media galore. I mean, there's OnlyFans, there's I mean, hell, Instagram, even nowadays, I think even Cardi B's on Pornhub. You know what I mean? Like, you can put your shit anywhere nowadays. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like women are taking over. It's time for us women to speak up. I mean, we've been stereotyped since fucking from back in AD, you know?
Right.
We're only supposed to have kids, get married, not do anything. Like, nah, I am a girl. I'm horny. I want to go and have a threesome with 2 other girls with my man. Like, I want to wild out. I don't want to just be that stereotype girl. I'm not that.
Not to stay at home, yeah?
Yeah, not to stay at home. I like to go out. I like to have fun, you know? So it's like, women are taking it back for once, you know. It's not just men that can be out there fucking around. It's like girls can do that shit too. Like, what the fuck makes you think, you know? Like,
right.
Like, and then they get mad. They're hella mad because of that, you know. And I'm like, well, what? It's not a one-way street here, homie.
Right. Well, and see, and that's the thing that I love about the beauty of the music today is that it. See, okay, so to kind of give my background, my favorite artist of all time is Eminem. But see, here's the reason why. Is because I like my artists edgy, and I like when they stretch the boundaries. You know what I mean? I like when they say what's not supposed to be out there. Now, I do, and I mean, because it's kind of like cliched that the white boy likes Eminem. You know what I mean? So I mean, my next artist past that is Kanye, and the reason why is because Kanye is gonna hurt your feelings, but he's still gonna bring in album sales, and the reason why is because he's gonna piss you off, but you're gonna want to listen to his album as to why he pissed you off. You know what I mean? And I love that the female musicians nowadays are doing just that.
It's all clout. Clout.
Well, I mean, look. Okay, so for a couple days ago, Cardi B was like accidentally put her nitpick on the media. I'm sorry, not an accident. You know what I mean? But you know what though? Like, her name's up there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I guarantee you, the first thing you look on Google is, Cardi B picture. You know what I mean? Like, it's trending and it's moving. Yeah. I mean, now the only thing I don't endorse is the way Doja Cat went about it.
What do you mean? I love Doja Cat. Don't you dare. I'm gonna walk out.
Well, hold on. Well, no, it's because, okay, so did you hear about the whole she's a undercover, like, white supremacist? Like,
no, what?
So, okay, so
educate us.
I know.
So there was a video that came out with Doja Cat where I guess apparently she was, and like I said, allegedly, so I don't get sued or shit, that she was, she had a video of her twerking on, like, white supremacist people, like the Confederate flag people. You know what I mean? Like, wow. Yeah, bad. You know what I mean? Like, it was rough.
I mean, it's hard to tell if that's really them, because for one, when you're in that industry, you either get paid to do that, or it's just for the clout. And all reality, I mean, before I grew up and matured, I was a clout chaser. I posted my nudes on purpose. And bitches without my consent, I call them bitches because that was rude. So you're a bitch for that.
Right.
You know, without my consent, recording me just having fun. I thought I was with my girls at that time, and I don't mind, with girls. We're sister love,
Right,
so
right.
And they would record my shit and post it on the internet, and that's where I get my clout at now. I mean, like the fans and the followers that I have now, and they see the involvement of me from going from that to this. It's like, I appreciate those people because you're willing to follow me through my fucking timeline, through my life, like what's going on, how that affected me. Because that affected me a lot. Like, I didn't give them permission to fucking post me. I didn't give them permission to do any of that.
Right,
and it's like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to post this shit on my own. Because you don't get the satisfaction of just
saying you exposed me.
Yeah, saying you expose. I'm going to expose myself.
Right,
Bitch, I look good in that video. Like, fuck off. I'll take all you niggas.
Well,
like,
you used it to your advantage. Yeah. At the end of the day, you took a bad situation and flipped it to make it profitable to you.
Exactly.
So,
and that's all I'm all
who really
about.
lost at the end of that day?
Exactly. And that's what I tell every woman too, is like, you gotta flip that shit. Don't let anybody fucking get you down, get you going. It's fuck that. You flip that shit and you be like, yeah, I am that bad bitch. You like it? Here's my OnlyFans.
Right. Well, see, when I met you, you were naturally a wild person, and that was, I think, what, like, because to me, that's how I am in terms of, like, I have friend circles that just stem from the craziest people in the world to the most high class people in the world. You know what I mean? Like, as long as I can genuinely click with you, then you're my friend. You know what I mean? And I don't judge people based on any background they've had. I mean, you've seen who I, you know what I mean? Like
I've seen it.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, it's genuinely, it's awesome that you advocate yourself in the way that you do, because no matter what profession, because I mean, as far as even outside of just entertainer, like, you've done stuff that are very high regard stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you've been a person that is working in different professions. You know what I mean? Like, you carry yourself in a way that it's not, I mean, it's kind of cliched, but it's not your average stripper. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's what I get that a lot too, because it's like, girls, I mean, I don't judge the girls that do that 7 days a week. Like, they use it as a full-time job, and it's not, I don't care. I could walk out with $300 on a shitty night and be okay with that, because I'm in the healthcare. That's my profession. That's where I'm going career-based.
Right.
The dancing and the entertainment is just my side hustle, my side, like,
passion.
That's just my, exactly, my side passion. That's what makes me feel good, and both of those make me feel good. So it's like, I can balance those two out. You gotta have your hobby, and if you come have your hobby and make some money out of it, then shit, that's the best thing on fucking earth, know? And that's what I try to do with it. So I don't know. I mean, people don't see me as that. I mean, only my real friends see me as, like, the healthcare, the caring person that I am. But I don't know. Everybody else kind of like, yo, you're just a dancer. Where's your pussy? I'm like, what the fuck?
Right? Like, all right, shallow.
I know, right?
I don't need you in my life.
Exactly. Fuck those people. I kick them out. I mean, they're out the door. Like, I don't need that shit in my life.
And that's what I love about you is, through all your heartache and, judgment, you're still a good person who's not going to pass on that same judgment.
Right.
You accept everybody for who they are, open arms. Yeah. Like, you're not going to take what's been done to you and inflict it onto somebody else.
Yeah.
And a lot of girls do that. Or a lot of girls won't even acknowledge anybody outside their little circle because of what's been done to them.
Right.
Right.
I don't know. I just relate on a lot of females. I grew up early. At the age of 14, I was pretty much an adult. So it's like, I get it. I was that hypocrite once upon a time. I thought dancing was like, oh, you're just a fucking hoe and this and that. And it's just, I call myself a hypocrite, and I can, because, like, I used to judge a girl in high school, and she just turned 18 and she didn't even graduate yet. And she was dancing, and I called her all the names in the book and this and that. And it's just like, ever since I got in that industry, like, I apologized to her. I'm like, girl, I'm sorry I judged you so bad. It was just me not being okay with myself, and judging you on that. And that's where a majority of the girls do that, is like, they're not okay with themselves doing that, so they go out and judge other women that can do that. And
like,
that
relating back to the WAP video, a lot of women only don't like that video, 1, because they can't dress like that, 2, they can't dance like that, or 3, they just don't feel confident enough to be like that.
Yeah,
I agree.
Oh, it's funny. So, like, okay, so if you guys checked out that episode where I was talking about WAP, it was even funny. Like, just from the natural, and those dudes are really cool people. I don't judge them at all. But oh yeah, go ahead and kill it.
I'm gonna grab mine.
Oh yeah, you're good.
She's like,
I'm gonna go get some liquor real quick. But no, like even
that way.
even so much so, like even they were like, oh, you only like it because of the ass. And I'm like, nah, that's not even it though.
I like it because of the confidence,
right.
How she brought it. At the end of the day,
right.
She worked her ass off to produce that video. She still recorded it. She still choreographed it.
Oh, yeah. No, like, okay, so I was actually getting into when I was actually talking about that episode and was literally like, talking about the song, and I was literally like, no, I actually like it because it was so, like, digitally creative.
Yes.
Like, I mean, you can tell in the shots they didn't do this in person.
No.
It didn't seem like, I could be wrong, but it didn't seem like they did it in person. The choreography was great. They were definitely, they sold it.
Yeah, it was a lot of time and effort. Like I said,
right.
I didn't like the beat. It didn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they still went hard on it.
Right.
They still put time, money, effort into it. Though, yeah, it wasn't the greatest song. Shit, she still rocked it at the end of the day. And she still got millions for it. So.
Right. Well, I mean, and that's the thing is people will get hurt about what they can't control, and that's exactly what the issue was. I felt was that people were.
It was new. It was something nobody was used to seeing.
Right. Well,
when was the last time we had a video like that?
Well, people just, I mean, they're just too sensitive. You know what I mean? Like, it's, and that's exactly why I genuinely am like, I just find it fucking hilarious. You know what I mean? Like and that people get mad because they're like, shit's not funny. It's teaching kids how to be whores. And I'm like, bro, it's not though. Like if you're allowing your kid
to watch that,
to be tutored by Cardi B to be an adult, then you're a bad parent. That's simple as that.
Yeah, because I'm sorry.
Don't try and church it to me that you're oh, well, I'm just trying to have my kid have good role models. Like, well, good. Have them have good role models.
Don't
have them read a book. They shouldn't be listening to KS 107.5 to actually be listening to who they're supposed to have as role models. No diss to KS 107.5.
No.
But I'm just talking about the content. You know what I mean? Like, don't make the content about who you are as a person trying to parent your kids.
And what is funny is a lot of those peoples will say that, but those are the ones allowing their kids to watch South Park or Family Guy. You're like,
right. Oh yeah, that's my funny thing is like man, like we grew up watching Family Guy and South Park, and I have never had a provocative thought about a person that hasn't had interest in me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not.
You're taught.
I have self-respect for people. You know, and I have respect even further past that. Like. I just you either get brought up to treat people with respect or you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and you shouldn't try to.
The things around you don't influence that. I mean, they do to an extent, but what you're taught is what you project.
It's so different though, because as a kid, I grew up with 90s music, and 90s music was totally different than the music that's now. You know. It was talking about like true love, like Nelly, you know, and J-Lo, like the dilemma, like I love that.
Here's the thing is, okay, I keep forgetting that you're kind of a little bit younger than I am. So the 90s music that I grew up on was like I mean, I understood of like as far as how it goes in that regard. Like I was exposed to like gangster rap and like, you know,
Tupac,
female
Easy
like
D.
Oh, this girl did me wrong, so she's a bitch. You know what I mean? Like I was exposed to that early, and like honestly it like, okay, if you saw my playlist and what it is in terms of all the artistry that I've listened to and who I have in my catalog, people would think that I'm like, oh, he just likes girls for sex. And you know what I mean? Like there people don't understand that like music is a good tool to have when it influences you in a positive way. When you learn from even your artist mistakes of how they thought of women at that time, you make a difference in terms of the world, because you're changing the stigma behind a man that's an artist that likes hip hop has to think of women in a provocative way, because that's not true. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. I mean, even back then with men, like
I'm out of crown.
It's well, sorry, homie. We owe you one. There we go. We got some.
Let's not advertise it.
All right. I did not say that.
Go ahead, sorry,
But,
Arianna.
I mean, I don't know. With a lot of music back then, I mean, I even show it, like, I kind of compare the difference between, like, Tyga and his new music now versus, like, Nelly and, like, you know, Pretty Ricky.
So
like, they were talking about, like, girls being, like, you know, like, oh, she is the one. She is so sexy. She's so fine, you know, like.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, and it wasn't, like, about, oh, I'm gonna put a rack on her booty kind of shit, you know? It wasn't, like, disrespectful.
So if you go back to the 90s.
We know how that goes.
But if you also go back to, like, 90s Tupac and Eazy-E, there's some, like, songs that talk about that.
Okay, so
you know? So it's one of those.
I grew up heavily on Tupac,
Yes.
and I'm like, there were songs where, like, Dear Mama was like, oh, you're the, like,
The
saint
saint.
for women.
Yeah.
But I also heard, like, Thug's Passion, where he's like, I'm making the bed bang, bro. Like, okay, so, like, there's different levels to it. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it's better than most of the shit you hear, because it's like, oh, I'm gonna fuck this bitch and leave her.
Right.
You know, he was trying to fuck her and keep her as a wife.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Well, there's other songs, though, where Tupac is like, I'll hit it and fucking quit it. Like,
I mean. Well, yeah, that I'll get around. Yeah,
yes,
I'll get around.
Yeah, that was the song.
Yeah,
It's like
there you
shit
go.
like that. It's at the end of the day, every generation, every genre is gonna have their inappropriate music.
Right.
It comes down to, because this is all about, you know, kids growing up. No, it comes down to parenting at the end of the day.
It does. I agree.
Like, get the hell out of here, because do you monitor what they watch on their, you know, YouTube, their TVs, like all of that. You get mad at one song because it's controversial and it's making public eye, and you forget about everything else you expose your kids to.
Right. The only thing I see, now that you mentioned that, because as a dancer, I see a lot of moms, and they'll actually not. I guess they would teach their daughters, you know, if they had a little girl,
how to dance
on the pole with them, spin. But it's like, it's not. If you teach them in a different perspective than a sexual one, then it's art.
Yes.
You know, and that's the difference between that. You got to teach your kids. Like, I'm not even a parent, but I'm just saying, like, you know, if you don't want your kid listening to wet ass pussy, like.
Monitor
you don't
it.
put that. You don't let them listen to that. You know, you just can't.
Don't get mad at the artist for what you can control.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, and you know, honestly, like, I mean, even for like pole dancing, it's actually like a
exercise.
Yeah, it's an exercise.
And it's intense.
Yeah.
It's
like
intense.
I mean, like, I'm not trying to make it. Like, people have this false stigma. Like, even so, like, when pole dancing became an official exercise, people advertise it as an exercise.
Yep.
Like, people have this misconstrued like idea behind, like, oh, they're just teaching them how to strippers early. It's like, no, actually, like, it's legit
endurance.
Yeah.
It's parkour. It's core
hard.
and
Yeah.
strength.
It's a hardcore cardio.
That's why I could never be a stripper.
Calories.
I tried, and I'm like, I can't even lift my body up. Fuck this. Like,
it's a pure exercise.
Yeah.
You get more cardio out of that than you would at a basic run for a mile. You know, and shit. I mean, the beauty of it is just like a perk. 'Cause as soon as I learn something new on a pole, I'm like,
and it's like learning a new trick on a bike or a skateboard.
like,
it's no different. Like, you have to put in the same mentality and effort to get that skill if you would to do anything else.
Right. Okay, so as far as like, okay, so I'm just gonna kind of throw a fun question. Normally, my fun question in season 1 was, if you were gonna ride into battle with an animal, what would you pick to ride? So now I'm gonna kind of flip this one because your previous professions have kind of been interesting, and I'm just curious to see what you prefer. So in terms of your walkout song for back, you know, when you used to strip, what would you pick?
Ooh, it was EDM all the fucking way. That would just put me in my zone.
Yeah.
It just put me in, because I love EDM.
Yeah.
Some rock music, I had a hard time, honestly, dancing to rap music, because I just feel like all I had to do was twerk.
Yeah,
that's
fair.
I'm just like, that's not all I can shake my booty, but
I can do
this.
more.
Yeah, you know, like, watch this. I can do
Put
this
me on the
too.
team, coach.
You know, but I mean, I love EDM. That always puts me in my mood, no matter where I'm at. I don't even have to be on a stage dancing on a pole. Like, we can blast it right now, and I'll just be in my zone, like, you know, and that's like the satisfaction that I got. I would literally close my eyes on a stage, because that's how I do. Sometimes when I'm nervous, I dance with my eyes closed, and then I would just open them and just see so much cash around me. Yeah, it was like the best fucking feeling ever. It's like, you felt my vibe. You felt my vibe is what attracts. Not my body, it's my vibe. Right. So it's like me closing my eyes and not even knowing what the fuck I'm doing. You know, not watching myself through a mirror and this and that, and just seeing all that money just flood around me. It's like, I'm appreciated for my art. That's where it comes in. I'm appreciated for that shit.
Well, and I mean, no bullshit. I mean, just based on like the way you're explaining to me how it goes through your head. I mean, it's kind of arguably the same way that an artist would go about a concert. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be in your element. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be in the zone. You know what I mean? Like, and I think a lot of people have this false perception in terms of like when people talk about strippers, like it's, oh well, they're just selling it to get a couple dollar bills. It's like, nah, you actually got to have a passion for this shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little more than just putting on something revealing and going out and,
let me tell you, we can all take pictures like that. But
so there's the difference between the good ones and the bad ones. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
because there's the ones that literally fuck it up for all of us. And that's the reason why I stopped, because I had a bad experience at one club. I'm not going to put the name out there.
Yeah. You share local, the experience.
But, you know, I mean, the girls fucked for money. You know,
and which is like stereotypical for that.
But job. I know. Yeah. I mean, some women went too far.
and that's the thing is, like, if you're gonna do that, do it on your own time.
Right. Be an escort. Yeah. Be an escort on your own time.
No, but here's the thing. Being grown up in Florida and knowing a lot of Miami people.
You grew up in Florida?
Yeah, that's before we met at high school, right? Before we met, I came from Florida, and Miami is a different world.
Oh, I've been there. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, a lot of men require their girls, because I wasn't one, but again, I had friends who were very much into it, underage, keep in mind. Yeah. So it was like these men knew they were underage and still required them to do shit crazy. Like that. And it's just really, at the end of the day, comes back to just keeping yourself safe. Is that something you want to do and risk it? By all means, then make your money, boo-boo, and live life on the edge. But for most girls, the minute they hear something like that, bitch, I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. As a young girl, I mean, I was already at 16. I mean, women mature a lot quicker than men anyways. So it's like, at the age of graduating high school, I was just like, I was already fucking with older guys. You know, I was like, I was not on that level. I knew what I wanted. I had what I needed to do. And it's just like, I don't know. I mean, yes, you should wait until you're 18, legal age. Yeah. I highly, highly recommend that. Because you will get in trouble. You will get the club in trouble. It's just a lot of fucking problems that start with that. But, like, you know, as long as, like, I would go to parties and I would twerk. Like I said, I was 16. Girls would record me, like, without my consent. And it's just me having fun. It wasn't me stripping. That was, like, 2 years later, you know? And I was 16, 14, 15 years old doing that shit, because it's like...
It was the hype?
Yeah, it was the hype. It was the hype at the moment.
Well, it was. I mean, no bullshit. Like, I mean, even when I first met you, like, I hadn't even met you in person. Like, normally when I drink with people, I've, like, probably known them my whole life. You know what I mean? Like, we all met up one time, and, like, I mean, you you had no issue getting drunk, and it wasn't even necessarily funny. It actually, like, it impressed me, because I was like, you're actually, like, a free spirit. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have any sort of judgment for yourself and for others, and that's dope. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's hard to come by.
Right, and that's honestly, like, why we've stabilized a very good friendship in over the long term, like, because you're just you are who you are. Yeah, and that's awesome.
And I appreciate people that accept that, because not a lot of people can, you know. Yeah. And I appreciate and love and adore those people that can, you know, like, after so many years, and like you know, for instance, you seen me then, like 3-4 years ago, and then
who you are now.
Yeah, and I you know, those people I appreciate the most is because it's like, you see the evolvement.
You've seen the process. Yeah,
you've seen the process of like, you know, what I used to go through, and then how I overcame it, and it's like, you know, that's all I'm trying to prove. Like, I'm not trying to be the role model, but I want to be the voice for women because, like, I am about my sister love. I am about my girls. I love that shit. And, like, I just want to know, like, hey, I've been through some shit too, girl. I'm going to talk you out of this so you can go ahead and do what you need to do. You know? That's what my main goal is now that I'm out of the industry. Is, like, girls that are coming into the industry, I want to guide them in the right path. I want to tell them, like, the precautions. Like, I've recruited a lot of my homegirls into that industry, and I was like, hey, you need to be careful. It will cause self-esteem issues. It will cause insecurities. It will do all this stuff, like, to you before you get in this. So please think about it before you do it. Because
it's a mentality
challenge.
It is.
That's what I'm saying. It's more mental than it is physical in this industry. And that's what I'm like, you know, I just want to be that voice for women that go into it, because I was that scared little girl going into that, and I did get into fucked up shit. I got roofied, I got fucked up, I trusted the wrong people, and it's like, I've been through that, and God forbid you go through that, you know, so I just want to be that voice and, like, help them out. That's why I'm still, like,
who you are,
exactly, and that's what I mean, I'm a caregiver, for crying out loud. I'm in the healthcare field. I love to care for people. I love to look out for them. Like, that's just moral of story.
Right. And so, Rose, I did not know that you grew up in Florida. Did not know
She's
that.
She's swimming with the alligators.
I was like, bro, what the hell were you going to tell me this? Like,
it was right before I moved to Commerce City when we met each other in middle school or high school?
Yeah, high school. Yeah, freshman year.
Freshman year.
Yep.
So I moved from Florida to Colorado. It was this back and forth. My mom grew up here. My dad grew up there. I was born here, but that was a toxic relationship all by itself. So, but yeah, I grew up in Florida, and that's actually where I got into my EDM, and I got into a lot of bad habits, I could say.
Yeah.
And I
I've seen them.
just kind of took it out here, and I'm sorry, the girls out here are way more out there than the girls out there. So,
really?
Yes. Not until, like, the girls here are smart. The girls out there can, Lord, let's help us. Anyways.
Yeah, I get you.
So when I met Janessa and girls like that, that's what really triggered me from turning into this, like, shy little girl to, okay, all my friends are open and out there like that. Let's see.
I won't sugarcoat it. People out here are wild.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm saying,
I've seen it.
We're out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Different vibes, but.
Yeah. And so, I mean, to kind of, like, reel it back in terms of, like, just the music industry to itself. Like, I mean, do you guys feel that it's trending in a more positive direction or a negative direction?
Negative. Okay. Totally negative.
And I mean, I'm assuming from the male perspective.
I mean, I could say positive only because like I said, I would listen to some crazy ass shit just to put me in my zone.
Yeah.
And remember who the fuck I am. You know?
So we got to talk about what genre, because every genre is going different directions right now.
Here it's hip hop. So I mean, from a hip hop perspective, like how are you guys viewing itself evolving or de-evolving?
It's devolving. Okay. I mean, like I said, we were 90s babies. I grew up with Tupac and all of them. So that's what I'm expecting. And hearing the shit now, I'm like, what the hell are you even saying?
Right. I don't understand what the fuck you just said.
Right. But, all right. Like, again, I'm not going to knock a person who hustles like that. But at the end of the day, hip hop isn't what it used to. I listened to the heavier shit back then than I do anything of today's age.
And I'm not even, I mean, I'm 99.
Yeah, but still, you still find yourself listening to 90s rap than you would than today's.
Exactly.
See, okay, and so it's kind of funny. The funny story with me is I used to be that way. And it's not even necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I still have more appreciation for 90s music than I do nowadays. Mm-hmm. But I had to kind of open my mentality towards, like, unfortunately, the 90s and the early thousands are just something that'll never be replicated ever again. You know what I mean? It'll never happen again. So, like, I just kind of learned, like, okay, well, if this is the way that it's trending, why is it as popular as it is today? Then, you know, people can't adapt. You know what I mean? And not to say, I'm sure you guys like music today in certain different areas. You know what I mean? But, like, it's crazy on how that works in terms of, like, you just have to, like, kind of evolve with it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, and never stay true to yourself. Yeah. I mean, if you definitely love 90s music, believe me, when I was in high school, if you looked at my playlist back then than what it is now, it was 90% of stuff that was 10 years old. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. And there's not diamonds in the rough. Like, there's certain artists today that I adore very much that you would never find back in the 80s because they're just so open-minded now that it's like, I'm glad we have you. But it seems we had more good artists back then than we do now.
Okay, so like a newer artist today, in terms of somebody that's not 30 years into the game or
there's
20 years.
There's controversy, but I love NF.
Okay.
NF is some real shit right there.
I got you. Okay.
Or I like that he speaks about life, and actually it's not like fucking bitches getting money. It's more
because
like,
there's some songs there, but he's diverse. He opens up more than sticking to the same, I guess, trend.
Yeah.
That's the majority of this music nowadays is. It's just a trend.
It's
just like fucking, that floral headbands and the yoga pants and all that. It's a trend.
I get you. Yeah.
So that's how they get their views, and it's like you speak from the heart, you get criticized for it.
Right. So, okay, in terms of like, is there a certain structure to your artist that you prefer?
Oh, no.
No?
I'm very diverse
the
in
rabbit
my
hole,
music.
like, it goes anywhere.
I mean, I can get down to country, EDM, rock, like, you give me a genre and I can name 10 plus artists.
Okay.
So it's just...
So I believe since you're technically the youngest out of both of us, so like you
most experienced though.
Right? Yeah. Okay. So like
I'm an old soul.
Right. So like, I mean, is there artists today that you treasure to yourself?
I mean, ever since I noticed as a millennial, like ever since the rap industry just fucking went downhill, dude, I went into EDM. EDM got me in my zone. It wasn't. EDM is nothing like the rap industry. It does not talk about fucking bitches getting money. It's talking about your emotions. It's talking about like your psychology, like I don't know, like in your brain, dude. It talks about your thoughts, what you actually feel as a human being.
With drugs enhanced.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
with drugs. So that's the thing.
You're familiar with the EDM elements.
Yeah, but even without the drugs, I'm gonna tell you this once. I've been to shows sober because I was broke. So.
Yeah.
You know, but you gotta feel the music.
But I felt the music. I felt that ecstasy from dubstep, from EDM. Like I was like, all right, I know I love this shit because I don't have to be fucked up to be fucked up.
Right.
And it's that's why I appreciate that industry and that world a lot more than I do the hip hop industry, because the hip hop industry is so fucked up. It's so corrupt. It has a perspective on women. It has a perspective on men. EDM world, you go into that shit. It's all about love. Everybody loves you. We're gonna help you out. Yeah. We're gonna fucking headbang together. We're gonna have a good fucking time. You know, and that's all it's about.
It's actually I'm not sure if you're familiar with her or not, but big shout out. I hope I need to get her on my Bars2Chains podcast.
You need to come.
Do you know who Arianna Catalina is at all? No.
She was the one we were talking about. She plays at Bass Ops, right?
Yep.
All right, cool.
So
So here soon, I'm trying to get her in.
Do it.
She's recovering for something. I don't know what it is, but she's got some stuff going on. I'm hoping I can get her in the episode sometime later in the future. But we can't wait, because I genuinely have an appreciation for that genre of music as well, because it's very important for how even hip hop evolves too. Because I mean, there's a lot of it's a popular trend nowadays for EDM DJs to be crossing over with producers that are hip hop. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't know if necessarily they opened the door. The door for it, but I mean, back then, like the Black Eyed Peas used to do shit like that.
I mean, I feel like they do
like Bass Hunter and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, see a lot of
artists. I mean, I've even heard like Son Holo on some.
I love that.
I love that.
See, you guys think I don't know this shit? I know this shit. You know what I mean? Like,
all right, well then we can have an EDM session.
There we go. But I feel like a lot of EDM, they collide with hip hop artists. Like for once, Skrillex.
It's not just
Skrillex
hip-hop.
has pretty much teamed up with a lot of majority of hip hop artists today, and they sing about shit that you don't hear them sing about. No. They're all about peace and love, and it's like, hey, EDM will take over because it's about the vibes. Vibes, you cannot deny vibes. You can deny bitches and money and stripping and all this shit.
Because not all of us get that.
Yeah, but we all get the vibes, and that's what I'm saying. Like Skrillex and like other EDM artists that are colliding with the hip-hop industry, it shows the hip-hop industry like, hey, you can have a sensitive side and still rap and be about your shit, you know?
Right.
And that's all I like and appreciate from music is if you're speaking from your heart. Like, you could be as sensitive. That I love that shit. You know, I don't want you to think you're all hardcore shit and this and that. Like, I'll flip the fucking song. Like, I don't want to hear that shit. I want to hear where the fuck you come from. Like NF. Yep. He talks about real shit like that, and like me and my boyfriend, we love that hymn. Like Well, my boyfriend introduced me to NF because I love G-Eazy. I wouldn't know if he said pop. Yeah. So, you know, so G-Eazy talked about real shit because he does. He does. He did.
She's all like, he kind of hit the mainstream.
And then just
went, I mean, G-Eazy.
But I still adore him. We all do.
I know. I mean, he's baby daddy, but he just.
My sister says the same thing.
He goes through his phases, and I
see his
hurt. I see his hurt, and I can feel his hurt. No matter if it's fucked up and it's against women or not, but that's how he feels, and I appreciate the realness.
Right. Well, I mean, and it's just, I mean, there's a passion to it when it comes to appreciating your artist, and that's generally how I am. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, I'm sure you guys have probably watched previous episodes that I've had, but I have a genuine appreciation for my artists that are evolving. You know what I mean? Like they always trying to find a way to influence the next generation.
Who's evolving though? What's one of your artists? Because I don't know who the fuck you're talking about.
Oh shit!
She doesn't watch the podcast, obviously.
You don't want me to get started on this shit. It's like no, seriously though. Like okay, so for me, unfortunately, one that I felt that was evolving the industry and was making waves to make this shit better for people and actually make artists more open to who they are was Nipsey Hussle. Hey. In terms of he actually was like trying to find a way to influence the artists today that are
Not
new.
Only that, his community.
And they don't get stuck into these contracts that are like you have to some rich, you know, stereotype white CEO is gonna tell you how to preach about the hood. You know what I mean? Like, he genuinely told it how it was, and whether you liked it or not, he was gonna tell you the way it was because he owned the masters to his music. So he controlled what the fuck it was. You know what I mean? And that's, now today, I mean, the guy pisses everybody off, but like, Kanye's doing the same thing right now. Like, where he's genuinely trying to advertise that you can be smarter than these CEOs that are trying to sucker you into, hey.
You just can't get stuck in a contract, though.
Right. Well, and so, like, these people are trying to outsmart people, and they're trying to be like, oh, well, here's $1 million, but you can make $10 million if you do it the way I'm telling you to do it.
Right, exactly. And that's not real. That's not speaking from the heart. That's what fucks me up is, like, I don't know, like Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj. What's that one group that they're called in? Like,
Young Money.
Young Money. You know, and they all sing about the same shit, and it's like, you know, like, that's not real. I want to hear some real shit. You know.
Fair. Yeah. Well, and seeing like, and that's kind of, I mean, even for the contractual shit, that's no, you're good.
That's like the second time.
Even for the contractual stuff, like that was the shit that Lil Wayne kind of got himself into in terms of like. He for years on end he had some very like deep dark business shit that was going on behind closed doors. Enough so that they were holding albums out for a really long time
to figure out what the hell was going on.
Well, okay, so did you listen to the Carter 5 when it came out?
No.
Okay. So one of the popular tracks on it was Mona Lisa.
Oh,
the song with him and
you gotta just remind me.
So if you remember the track, it actually, like, Kendrick Lamar sounds young as fuck.
Yes.
Like, he sounds like
10 a baby.
Yeah.
Like he found him years ago.
There's a reason why, because the album got put on hold for so long. So it was recorded back when he released like
his first albums?
Like his very first albums, and so they held it on hold because he didn't have the rights to it, and he wasn't in charge of releasing it, so they can hold that shit out for. I mean, obviously that was recorded back when like Good Kid, Mad City was out, and that was a long ass time ago.
That was.
I mean, and that album was released last year. You know what I mean, like. So they can hold on to your shit for however long they feel
they want.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, you're a millionaire anyway, so it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, you won't need it. You know what I mean? Like, and I'll be honest, like, the Carter 5 for me, I didn't necessarily, like, I liked it. I didn't. But here's the thing, is I would have liked it if it would have came out on time.
Like, back then.
If it would have came out when it was supposed to, I would have loved it even more.
No,
but
because
now
you've grown.
I felt
the
like
time genre
you can't drop an album when the artist sounds different in age. And there were some songs in there where I can genuinely tell there were some songs in there was recorded 7 years ago, and there were some songs that were recorded yesterday. Yeah, and I was genuinely like kind of.
And it fucks with you.
And it hurt my heart because it was a genuinely great piece together album, but the fact that like the greedy part of corporations today, like it held it from being what it could have been. Yep. You know what I mean? Like from it being possibly quadruple platinum, whatever. You know what I mean? Like whatever it could have charted at, it probably got lesser. And I mean, I don't know that it necessarily did bad in terms of charting. I haven't looked at the statistics, but like it definitely didn't get the following I felt like it would have had it come out when it was supposed to. You know what I mean?
Like does anybody know Kesha and what she goes through? Do you know what she's going through with her producer?
No, I've heard about it though. I've heard about it.
So long story short, producer sexually assaulted her in some way. Those are claims.
Yeah.
But she's made albums that he has refused to
put them out,
post because of her allegations. Yeah. And because she signed this contract, she cannot go make music with anybody else. So she has been pretty much his slave for the last 10 years now?
Well, it's the same thing with Kanye because Kanye is actually in a situation right now where he, and I actually talked about this on the last episode, so go check it out if you want to go check it out. But he's holding out his music because he doesn't want to put it under the Universal or Sony that he said, I refuse to put this album out because I want it done right. So I don't know what his contract looks like, but let's say hypothetically it's 5 years from now. If Kanye actually has a good album locked up, we're not going to hear it for 5 years.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, by then, we don't, unfortunately, tomorrow isn't promised.
Yeah.
If he passes away, you may never even hear it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's sad because that's where you end up in situations where artists are passing away and they have full control on how it comes out and they fuck it all up.
It was
you know
like
what I mean? Like
Vinci before he committed.
No, he didn't commit suicide. But that's my own little conspiracy theory. But anyways, go on.
Whatever the conspiracy theory was, I don't think he was under contract or anything. That's why I love the EDM world. And once again, because it's not under contract like hip hop artists are.
You're a promoter and you're pushing your shit.
But after his death, he had a whole album ready to go before he passed, you know, and that did get released because the family was like, we need to release this is what he produced before
that better days is what they try to stop
and that's produced. That's why I appreciate EDM artists a lot more than the hip hop artists, because it's like they literally say it in a lot of music, I don't sell my soul, but you're selling your soul once you sign that contract.
Okay, so when we were kids, we thought selling your soul was literally you got to meet up with the devil and he's sitting in front of you and you sign a contract. See, it was metaphorical because selling your soul is, I'm an artist that made it to where I am today, but my music's going to change because some guy that owns the record label is going to tell me how it's going to come out.
Or because the trend is telling me to do it.
Exactly, and that's when they lose my interest. I want to hear the real. I don't like...
Some EDM artists are just like that too, where they get so caught up in the highlights.
Even the biggest one, like XIV, for instance. XIV is one of the most mainstream. Everybody knows EDM, who he is.
Yeah.
He's probably under contract. I don't know. I can't really speak for that. My EDM people might get pissed off because I said this, but he's so mainstream. Everybody knows who he is. He follows everything that everybody wants to hear. Before, I went to shows where he was so demotic because people wanted to go to a show where they see demotic shit, about the Illuminati and this and that. I don't support that. I don't know if that was XIV doing XIV or if he was under a contract and trying to just, because dubstep is hard. It's like a rock. We headbang.
There's high and low vibrations.
There's high. There's different types of dubstep. Yeah. There's melodic dubstep. That's Selenium. And Set the Sky.
Dubstep, right?
There's I could go through all the phases of dubstep. There's so many different types of dubstep, but he's that hard. He does pretty much all the genres, but it's just
once you go mainstream, it kind of no longer.
Yeah, once you go, that's why I feel bad for Elenium.
You sell your soul at that point.
Elenium is going mainstream too. Good Things Fall Apart went on the radio, and I was like, what? As soon as I heard that on 95.7, I was like, wait, all right, Elenium, what are you doing, homie? Because you're not supposed to be mainstream because
Well, they did. Well, here's the controversy of mainstream. Tech went mainstream how long ago? Where he swore up and down.
Yeah, I was gonna say about 7 years ago.
He swore up and down he'd never go mainstream, but in one of his sayings, he says, "In order to grow, you got to change."
Yeah,
and that was his.
Real quick, I got so buzzed that I thought I was gonna drink this. I almost died on the air, bro. Okay, but no, go ahead. On your text
She's
segment.
like,
sorry.
Whatever you do, don't drink this.
Don't drink the sanitizer.
Said him.
Don't drink bleach, guys.
But go
no
ahead.
more.
You were saying about Tech. Yeah.
He went mainstream, and a lot of people thought Tech was gonna destroy himself for going mainstream. But in all honesty, he took a genre, not his own, and had them form into his own genre.
So because our preferences on hip hop are very similar, we very much have a similar taste in music. So in terms of the whole Eminem and MGK thing.
Oh, so you can't do that to me because
Why?
I like them both.
Really?
They're idiots for fighting each other because again.
They should have had a track a long time ago.
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
My point is, MGK is literally a miniature Eminem.
Yeah.
Okay, he went through the same struggles Eminem did. They just came from different genres.
Yeah.
That's Cardi B. She's from Nicki Minaj.
Okay. So hold on. On that thought, I literally listened to the two tracks back to back, and not that like Cardi B ripped her off, but I think if they would have collabed on it,
it would have been better. Just like
But
had MGK and Eminem did it, dude, they would have made a fucking track.
When Nicki Minaj dropped Anaconda, I was it was kind of like WAP. You know what I mean? Like, it was similar.
It really was. Like, when I heard Anaconda and then hearing WAP, I was like...
I remember when Anaconda dropped, and I was like, it pissed off the same audience that WAP's pissing off right now.
It did.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
in all
it's
honesty,
the same exact thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm just kind of like...
It's just the Mormons pissed off.
About roofing niggas. Because she wasn't
yeah.
about that.
Okay, she wasn't, but at the end of the day... You're following a trend. You could say it because at the end of the day, you make the money. You got the shit to
and that's
flaunt
where
it.
Cardi B evolved from. Cardi B is a miniature.
Cardi B
Nicki
came
Minaj.
from the streets. Minaj came from a well-brought-up family.
Minaj came from She came from the ghettoest of the streets.
Haiti or Haiti?
No, she didn't come from Haiti. She was in fucking
Cardi B.
Brooklyn. Like she was in the fucking streets, dude.
Nikki. Oh, she's from Brooklyn.
Yeah, Brooklyn. That's what I'm saying. She came from the hard.
So if you guys like artists before they were mainstream, definitely go look up some Nicki shit. I'll send you guys some tracks.
Yes,
Nicki was
Nicki
was a fucking bar star.
Yeah,
she was like
what
on
was that
her
one
shit,
where she was
bro.
like, I'm paying for all my cousins shit. Like I was bitch, I could feel you.
Oh, Nicki,
back then.
Nicki,
then.
at one point in time, Nicki was out spitting some of the male artists.
Women,
because I mean, her background isn't necessarily fully battle rapper, but she can go toe to toe. You know what I mean?
She got the bars.
Yeah,
she did. She lost her passion, and you could tell she lost her passion.
When Pink Friday came out, she hit that I'm just gonna mix pop with rap.
Yeah,
and it doesn't work.
Yeah. And it was the downfall from there. And I think with her Pink album and Cardi coming out, it fucked her up.
And it was a bittersweet. She got rich off her music, which, awesome for you. But,
Cardi got...
I genuinely hope that, when she went the pop route, it wasn't going to resonate because she would have went back to her core element.
And she didn't, though. She just kind of was like, fuck you guys for not accepting me for me.
Feel
and
it was Nicki got famous from speaking, which, like you said, she was back then, if you were a Nicki fan before all the mainstream shit.
She was hard.
She was rapping about hardcore shit. She was
hitting back.
But the only thing, the difference between Nicki and Cardi B is that Cardi B got famous. Why? Because she was on that fucking show. She was a dancer. She roofied niggas. She got famous because of that.
When was the last
and then
time,
she started rapping.
When was the last time Minaj dropped a single that was actually good? When was the last time?
Okay, so here's my thing with Nicki is Nicki on features, she's actually trying to prove something. She wants to, she knows that she's going to be overcrowded by male artists, so she's like,
I'm gonna be on it.
I'm gonna spit a harder verse. But when she's on her own shit, she's trying to sell this like
girly pop,
I'm gonna
like
sing,
love life,
and I want to,
like, girl, just be that bad bitch.
I love that. But Cardi B set on. Nicki could go both sides. She could be sensitive and she could be hardcore. Cardi B is just like one set. You know,
she's hard.
She's gonna tell you how she grew up and how fucked up it was, and make funny out of it, like, or make humor out of it, because like she just genuinely, like, she was grown up that way.
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, she's seen it firsthand, so she's gonna tell you how it was.
Not only that, Cardi is the only one probably in that whole industry that does not give a fuck about what people think of her.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Until motorsport, that's where Nicki and Cardi B.
Well, so did you guys ever hear the story about that?
Yes, I did.
Where she threw the shoe?
No. That was after.
Me so, at the club.
So Nicki is by far after this whole incident happened, I was like, bro, you're just fucking bitter, bro. Like, so she literally got pissed because she didn't realize Cardi was on the track.
Yeah.
And was all bitter because she's like, oh, well, I want to re-record my verse because I didn't realize she was on it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like,
it's
just,
like, bitch,
bro,
you're
like,
wasting money.
Well, it's like, on top of it, it's like, bro, work together.
Right.
Like, for fuck's sake.
Do you know how much money you could have brought in together?
Well, I mean,
that's the difference, because women are so fucking, they're so mean.
Yeah.
The one woman is always trying to be up better than the other woman. So I feel like Nicki Minaj felt that with Cardi B, because Cardi B is a savage. She is that kind of bitch that would be like, I'm gonna put you in your place. So it's like Nicki felt that kind of way with Cardi B, because Cardi B was like, and honestly, it was unfair because Nicki had no clue until she had to call them and be like, what? Like, it's not fair. Like, I would feel the same way if like I was said one thing and then it's another. I would be confused as fuck, you know? And especially if it was my competition, I would probably spit a little more fire. I understand Nicki on that woman level, mature, you know, like trying to get on that level. It's like, yo, I'm just spitting fire because these are my boys. But if my competitor is there with me, I'm going to spit even more fire.
Well, and see, my concern, because I'm not like I have her album covers tattooed on my ass. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like the biggest Cardi fan, but I do think she's funny when she does crazy shit, because she knows how to work her craft. You know what I mean? Like, she knows exactly what's going to push the right buttons at the right time. And so my only concern, though, is that I wonder how much different this episode will look, how much different this album is gonna look in terms of, like, she doesn't have Cardi to beef with anymore, or not Cardi, Nicki, because Nicki's, you know, retired.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, my question is, are you still gonna come with the same flame and you're gonna piss off other people, or are you going to? You're at the top now, because here's the thing that happens with male artists, is they get to the top, they can't compete with anybody anymore because they know they're on top.
Yep.
And
they
there's less fire to it. For example, perfect artist that I've had this issue with, and he's my favorite artist. Eminem has that issue right now. He's trying to out-rap people that aren't in the same element. Like, everybody
just
knows
not your level.
Everyone knows you're gonna out-rap everybody. Yeah. But the problem is you're doing it on every fucking track. Like, you gotta prove something. And it's like, you don't have to, bro. Like, you can genuinely put out what you want to put out, because people, even the person you beef with, already coordinated you as the GOAT.
Yeah, I mean,
in his diss track, he's like, bro, we already know you're the GOAT. Yeah. Like, when someone is if someone is trying to diss you and they tell you that, like, stop trying to prove shit to people and just do you.
I mean,
like, there was no reason to have a response.
It's just like the same thing with, like, the dancing and that. I'm the GOAT in that shit. But it's just like, some people just don't understand what the fuck I'm saying, or understand how I feel or what I'm talking about. So it's like, I have to prove that point, you know? And that's why I feel like Eminem is at with, like, his shit. Like, he has to prove a point. He feel like his voice wasn't heard.
My point is, when you're making albums like Eminem was, how can you not say your voice wasn't heard? At that point, you were just bored with yourself. And you're like, hey, you know what? I have nothing better to do, so let me entertain this. Because at the end of the day, Eminem back then wouldn't have even given him the time of day to be like, yeah, let me record a diss track. Right. Then again, it could have all just been for the clout. It's just, they were both dropping in numbers and thought, hey, maybe if we have a little fake rap battle, And what happened? Their numbers went up
like
the minute that happened.
You know, and like, yeah, exactly. Like,
so again, it could all just be fake, and they are actually friends, and it just.
That's what I'm saying. That's
well,
what's
okay,
so hard to tell.
Recently, so I follow this one dude. I can't quote his YouTube channel because I'm like fucking.
Fair enough.
Buzzed. So, like, but okay, so
don't let him drink, guys.
Yeah. So he literally was like, he literally said like they met up. Well, so okay, so him and Nick Cannon met up. Oh, allegedly, shit. They're trying to either set it up or it already happened, but they cut the beef. The beef's no longer existent. So Mariah. That's pretty much what Fat Joe is trying to do right now with Eminem, which is like, dude, you guys are the same fucking artists. Yeah. The only difference is this dude's like X amount of years younger than you, but he's trying to do it the same way. Now here's the thing. I would never say MGK is as talented because that's not true at all.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think he even.
There's a debate.
It goes NF, G-Eazy, and then him. MGK, because I feel like he doesn't speak from his heart. I feel like it's just like
back then, like I said, back then, if you listen to MGK back then when he was making it from the ghetto to the riches, so that was the hardcore because he hit mainstream. He got that money. He got comfortable like everybody else does.
Here's the issue is that I listened to the album. Okay, so I listened to the album that MGK had right after the whole Eminem versus MGK beef, which was Hotel Diablo.
Which is funny because I liked MGK's better.
So
surprisingly.
I can't agree.
I can't agree on that either.
So here's my thing is that like it genuinely seems like MGK did it out of I wanted clout.
Oh yeah,
like you had no personal. And here's the thing. Okay, so hold on. So you
fell for it.
So you like Tech. He dissed Eminem well before all that shit even happened. And he dissed him on Tech's album, and that's why like I was.
But did Eminem ever respond to it?
Okay, so now here's the thing: is Eminem genuinely didn't. I don't think he realized what was possible out of it until years later because he didn't know about the tweets about him talking about his Eminem's daughter. And
wait, MGK or
MGK tweeted he tweeted on Twitter
because that's why I thought he did it better because we all know Haley's a soft spot.
MGK did say that he fucked Eminem's daughter.
Yes, that's why I said that's why.
So what he said was okay. So when Haley was like 16 or 17, she was still underage, and she literally. Or he tweeted at her and said, "Oh, Eminem's the GOAT, but your daughter's fine as fuck." Yeah. But here was the issue: was MGK was over the age of 18, and Haley was underage.
She's like,
and that's why I say MGK got the up one of
the
Eminem because we all know Haley is his sensitive topic, and the fact that Eminem was able to say that without really being disrespectful.
Bro, he went hard on that shit to MGK.
Oh, because, shot? Yeah.
Bro, exactly. He went hard because why? Because that's his pride possession. That's his daughter. That's his baby girl. He's gonna go hard and he's gonna defend
at the end of the day, he got you. He got you because he was able to get a response out of you.
Bro,
at the end of the day, how would you feel?
That one.
Yes, but how would you feel if a younger girl was able to get you to step out of your place?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It comes out of passion. Any industry that you're into comes out of passion. And
if you know damn well this rapper is over here saying shit for the clout, you shouldn't feed into it because now you're just getting everybody to pay attention. But you just got everyone to pay attention to what he said about your daughter.
I know.
Instead of being like, you know what, I'm going to turn the blind eye and be the bigger person. Not half of nearly people would have listened to it until Eminem came back to it.
Sometimes being the bigger person doesn't really get you anywhere. And sometimes you have to respond, especially if it's defending your blood.
Do you know how much you just put his daughter in between all of that? Do you know how much clout?
In between it,
but because of him, but because he turned around and fed back into it, it hyped up her way more than what it had to.
But he didn't feed into it in a negative way. He fed into it like, MGM, you ain't shit, nigga, so what makes you think my daughter wants you? That is fair. You know? So it's like, get the fuck out of here. Like any other father in the world, get the fuck out of here. You ain't good enough for my daughter.
But didn't MGK post a picture of him and Haley, and that's what actually started the whole story?
There was some shit
going on. So my point is, MGK had it above him. and he just kind of hyped up MGK
here's
for
the
it.
thing is, MGK is a talented artist in the regard of he picked the wrong person.
Yeah.
So you could have beefed with
Mm-hmm.
Kanye, you could have beefed with Drake, you could have beefed with anybody in the industry, except for the dude that can actually literally tear you apart lyrically. Like, and that was like, dude, like, I mean, and to be honest, like, Eminem's pretty, like, he's tender with everybody in terms of he'll go at anybody. He's
always been, yeah.
And so, like, you could have used it as a way to go at somebody else if you really wanted to.
And I guess my thing is I expected Eminem to have been so used to having, like, people come at him with disses that I was like, I think he's too much of a god to even respond to MGK. Like, let MGK know he's not worth his time. And instead, he fueled that whole battle, which is why I like to say, hey, yeah, you did it for the clout. Because I just feel like Eminem has been through so much that he should know already, like, I'm not going to fight with this youngin'. Like, I made my name. Why the hell do I have to go and step up
and I think,
again?
honestly, I mean, M very much saw the dollar signs out of it, where you're fucking with somebody that made a living out of dissing people.
Yeah.
Like, that was the dumbest shit you could have done was, you don't even have a name for yourself. So much so. I mean, MGK had a name for himself, but he was an underground rapper.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, but you're fucking with somebody that can pull the strings under the same label that you're under to literally pull the rug from under you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I was disappointed because, in all honesty, when MGK came out, I was like, man, I hope to God Eminem and him get together at some point and come up with a song.
Yeah.
And instead it was this little bitch fight that I'm like, you know what? You guys could have made such better music had you just came together. Like Cardi and Minaj.
Even Nick Cannon right now is doing his very best to try and, I mean, literally make peace with them, because he has a Wildin' Out, show that, like, is the background of what Eminem's upbringing was, which was battle rap. Yep. So it's like, you're playing with the wrong set of fire. At least if you're gonna get roasted, make it something that's gonna make it worthwhile.
Right, and you know what I mean? Everyone knows it's playful, so they know at the end of the day you can still collab together.
Right. And see, and that was the issue. That is what the issue is today.
Because I hate separation. Because now you got people who are like, well, who do you like, MGK or Eminem? And a lot of people like me, I'm like, I like both, and everyone's like, what? You can't like both? Like, yeah, I fucking can. Like, they're both great artists. They're
so
just
here's the thing with me and MGK, I don't necessarily, I can't say that I'm a fan of his. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't follow his music, so to speak, but I did appreciate some of the collaborations he did. Mm-hmm. And in terms of when he went underground, he definitely spit some fire.
Oh yeah.
But I'm just kidding. No, but but so no, like I genuinely didn't see that, like, he was, I don't know, like, I genuinely didn't see that he was, like, I don't know, on top of his shit. You know what I mean?
Oh my god. Sorry guys, technical difficulty.
I got you. That's the plus side of doing this forever, is that you know how to fix stuff. But yeah, no, like, I genuinely didn't seem like it. I just didn't feel like MGK really went about it the right way.
Nah. So why I liked him so much, so there was this song called "Swing Life Away." Yeah. It was originally a rock song by Rise Against.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, so I grew up heavily in the emo rock scene growing up. So when MGK came to the scene, he took a lot of those rock songs and kind of flipped them into, like, remixes of rap to him. And it was nice to see him collab and take a different genre and be able to flip it and still make it sound good. Can he do it lately? No, I don't agree with him now. When he was underground, totally. Not so much today.
Mm-mm. Okay, so to kind of make this episode a little funny, just because I just want to see how you guys are. Now, is there an artist that you say is kind of, so to speak, like rappers wise, is Fine as Fuck as, like, the highest, like, more, like, attractive artist in the industry right now?
You can't say that, because I'm gonna go with Beyonce.
I'm going with G-Eazy.
No, male-wise.
It's like women, I mean.
No. Yeah, male-wise.
G-Eazy. Only because, I mean, he does talk about fucked up shit about using women and this and that, but it comes from the fucking heart.
Right.
That's him being him. That's him. He understands he has his issues and this and that, and it's just like he speaks about that in his music, and that's,
I mean, I met many, many men just like him, you know, lost romantic, hopeless romantic.
Hopeless romantic, yeah.
And that's kind of what I get from G-Eazy. I mean, he fucked with Halsey. Halsey's one of my favorites. Even BB Rexa was one of my favorites as well. Like, he fucked with both those girls, and like he popped up in multiple of their videos.
Yeah.
And like he played them both, and even Halsey, she's like, Without You. Yeah. She played that song because it was for G-Eazy, and the day she performed that on stage, she had all the pictures of all his exes, all the girls he cheated on her with, and just put him on blast because he is that kind of man. But like, he's not afraid to embrace that. He's not afraid to show that. He's not gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna treat you right, girl. I'm fucked up. Bitch. Yeah, no, I'm fucked up and I'm gonna fuck your life up, but I'm gonna give you good sex.
So
this is why narcissists win all the time, guys.
But it's real. It's real though.
So the best line out of that diss track from Eminem was literally that, when he was speculating on the whole MGK and Halsey, and then the G-Eazy thing is like, this dude's so bent because I think he said young Gerald's balls deep inside of Halsey.
Yeah,
I was just like, bro, you petty, bro. Like,
that is petty.
You fucked up, bro.
Halsey, she's
an awesome person.
She is amazing, and her music. All her music nowadays that's produced is all because of G-Eazy. Yeah. All of her, Without Me.
But like, that's what I don't like. Okay, I don't like when an artist, I don't like when a female artist goes from being this independent woman who talks about the struggles she went through, the sexual abuse, like some hardcore values, to, oh, this guy fucked me over, so now I'm just heartbroken. Let me sing about it.
Taylor Swift.
I was just about to say that was Taylor Swift.
And that's I loved Halsey. I loved her all the way up until her breakup with G-Eazy.
But that affected her, though.
It did, and I'm not saying her music didn't, like, it's still good, but... Yeah. I wish I would have saw Halsey more on a personal level than a heartbreak level. Yeah. Because I feel like she would have had way more to bring if she was singing about some personal shit that she went through than this guy fucked me over. Because you know what? We can look up 10 million other artists who can sing about the same shit. Right. But when Halsey started out, she talked about some real shit. Women's movements, sexual abuse, like some real shit that hit some core values to women. And now it's the same basic shit.
So we actually only got like a minute and a half, real quick. Quick question. Because you said something about Beyonce earlier.
I love her.
So Riri or Beyonce?
Beyonce.
Riri.
Oh
Beyonce.
My God. Okay, so I will need to bring both y'all back in. I'll need to bring both y'all back in to have that argument.
All right. All right.
I was already like, I got my facts.
And I'll even bring the boxing bell, just like ding, ding, ding. Ready? Like let's go ahead and hash this
I got
out.
the gloves.
Yeah. So but. Awesome topics today, ladies. I'm glad you guys came in today and you guys were on top of your guys' shit in terms of like, the gloves essentially came off. And I appreciate that you guys were honest about everything you guys had talked about today. And I can't wait to have you guys back in sometime in season 2. And get you ladies back in to go and talk about some crazier shit. So I thank you guys all from my Bars2Chains Podcast family. Actually, if you guys want to just go ahead and show off your merch a little bit, just the stuff that I got you guys on.
We can't stunt.
So Ariana's got the crop hoodie, and
this
then
is the butt, but we got the
yeah. Oh yeah, and I'm rocking the zip up hoodie. Yeah. Thank you guys so much, you guys being supportive of my podcast and coming on here and having so much fun on here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course.
For sure, man.
Next time you guys want to come in, just let me know and we'll get you guys in right away.
I like that.
So as always, my send off is thank you guys all for tuning in today. We love you all and thank you guys. I hope you guys reach this message in good health and in safety. Love you all. Peace.
Peace.